Hello everyone, welcome to Learn Online. Today's session will be the continuation of basics of data interpretation. In our previous session, we have already seen the basics of line graph and in today's session, we'll be looking at the basics of tabular graph and one of the very important concepts of data interpretation. Yes, that is pie chart. So I'm Kanaka, your aptitude trainer. So let us begin with today's class. In today's class, let us discuss about tabular chart. So you people might have already got the idea that in tabular chart, the data will be given in form of a table. One of the easiest forms of data interpretation because we have direct data that will be given in the table. To interpret that data, answer the given question. Let us look at our first question today. What does it say? Data of the students in a class along with data of those who do not take part in any activity is given. There are only two activities in a class and the ratio of students taking part in these two activities also given below. As we all know, every school contains a class, different classes. From this class, there will be number of students. There will be n number of students. And few of those students might participate in few activities and the few will not be participating in any of the activities. So they've given the total number of students, that is n number of students. Our first column here. So in second column, they've given us the number of students who are not participating in any activity. In a class, there are people who will participate and there are people who will not participate. Number of people will be number of people participating plus number of people not participating. How do we get the number of people who are participating? Now we know the number of students is total number of students. We also know number of students who do not participate in any activity. So we know the number of students who are not participating in anything. How do we get the number of students who are participating? As I told you, the total number of students will be equal to number of participating students plus number of non-participating students. So if we want participating students, we'll just subtract the number of non-participating students from the total number. It will be n minus non-participating students. So now, telling that ratio of students taking part in singing and quiz have been given. There are only two types of activities that are conducted in that school. And what are those? Those are singing and quiz. So now the one is the ratio of the number of students who are participating in singing and quiz from different classes. As I told you in my previous class, ratios is very important topic. Solve questions on data interpretation. Now let us look at our first question. What does it say? Approximate average number of students who take part in the activities from class 7, 8 and 10. Talking about classes 7, 8 and 10. So we'll have to neglect 9th standard. So we'll have to neglect 9th standard here. We'll have to take the average of the students. What is the formula for average? Average will be equal to sum of all observation divided by number of observations. Now, asking us the average of what? Average of number of students who are taking part in the activities. How do we get the number of students who are taking part in the activities? As I told you, from the number of participants, you have to subtract the non-participating people. So let us quickly calculate that. Class 7. How many people in total? Total number of students for class 7 is 280. So it is 280. Now, how do I get my participating students? I'll subtract the non-participating students from the total. So how many number of students are not participating in any activities? When it has to be 210. So it is 280 minus 210. That will give me 70. So what about class 8? How many people are there in total? There are 310 people. Out of those 310 people, 220 people are not participating in anything. I'm subtracting those. What will be the remaining number of students? Remaining number of students will be participating in one of the activity, any one of the activities. That is 90 students. So now, for class 10, what is the total strength here? Once again, it is 220 minus 160. That will give me 60. Now I have to take the sum of all observations. What will be the sum of all observation? 70 plus 90 plus 60. 90 plus 60 gives me 150. 150 plus 70 gives me how much? 220. Divided by number of observation. That is 3. So I have to divide 220 by 3. So what do I get? Is 220 divisible by 3? No. That's the reason they've asked us about the approximate average and not the exact average. If I divide 220 by 3, what do I get? 3 ones, 3 sevens is 21. So 73 point something. Which is the closest one here? Option B, 73 will be my final answer. Now, let's move on to the next question. So they are asking, what is the ratio of students who participated in group singing from class 8 to those who participated in quiz from class 9? Now they're asking about two different activities from two different classes. Which are those? Class 8. First, how do we find out the ratio of number of students who participated in group singing? That we'll have to need the number of students who participated in any one of the activity. So, from our previous problem, we've already found out that the total number of people participating in any activity from class 8 is 90. So, 90 people are participating in any one of the activity. Now they've given the ratio for both the activities, that is 4:1. So if you know the ratios, you can directly write it as 4 out of total 5 students participate in group singing. Out of the total of 90 students, it will be 5 ones, 5 18s. I'll not cancel it, I'll directly write it as 4 into 18. Why am I writing so? Understand it. This is for class 8. So how many people from class 9 are participating in quiz? So total number of students who are in the class 9 are 185 students and 95 students are not participating. So 185 minus 95 gives me 90 once again. So 90 people are participating. Totally 90 people are participating in any one of the activities from class 9. Of these 90 people, how many people are participating in quiz? Look at this. There are 2 people who are participating in quiz out of the total of 5 students. If there are 5 students, 2 students will be participating in quiz. There are totally 90 students. So what do we need to do? 2 out of total of 5 students of the total of 90. So 5 ones once again, 5 18s, 90. So what do we have? We have 2 into 18 here. They're asking us the ratio of group singing from class 8 to number of students who are participating in quiz from class 9. That will be 4 into 18 is 2. 2 into 18. This is the reason I did not calculate this. 18 gets cancelled. 2 1 times, 2 2 times. So what will be the ratio? Ratio will be 2:1. Do we have that in our options? Yes. Option B, 2:1 will be my final answer. So let's move on to the next sub question from the same question. Same tabular. What are they asking? What is the difference between the number of students who take part in quiz from class 7 and 8 together to the number of students who take part in any activity from class 9? So they're asking us the difference. To find the difference, what do we need to do? We need to first find out the number of students who participate in quiz from 7 and 8. So for each standard, we have already calculated the number of students who are participating in what? Group singing. What will be the total number of students who would be participating in quiz? So it is 1 out of the total of 5 of total of 90 students. So it will be 1 by 5 of 90 students. There's nothing but 5 ones, 18 times 90. This is for class 8. They're asking class 7 and class 8 together. So plus class 7. How many students are participating in quiz? There are 2 out of the total of 7. 2 of total of 7. Out of how many students are participating in any one of the activity there? 70 students. 7 ones, 7 10. So it will be how much? The total number of students who are participating in quiz from both class 7 and 8 are 20 plus 18. That is 38 students. Now, what do we need to find out? Students who take part in any activity from class 9. We have already found out that number of students are 185 and people who are not participating is 95. People who are participating is totally 90. We need to take the difference between 90 and 38. That is greater number minus smaller number. 90 minus 38 gives me how much? 38 plus 2 gives me 40 plus 50 gives me 90. So it is 52. Do we have that in our options? Yes. Option A, 52 will be my final answer. So let's move on to the next sub question here. What are they asking? What is the total number of students who take part in quiz from all the classes together? They're asking us to find the total number of students who are taking part in quiz. So, for 7th standard, we have already found out that number of people who are participating in quiz are 20. And for 8th standard, we've already calculated that it is 18 students who participate in quiz. Yes, 9th standard, how many people? 2 out of total 5. 2 out of 5 of 90. We've already found that as well. Our previous question, we have found that as 2 into 18 people participate in quiz from class 9. So, how many people from class 10 participate in quiz? 3 out of the 10 into, what is this? 60, 120 minus 160, that is 60. So this will be the total number of students who are participating in quiz from all the classes. So it will be 20 plus 18 gives me 38 plus 18 2 times is 36 plus 36 times is 18. So 30, 60 plus 10, 70 plus 8 gives me 16. 70 plus 16 gives me 86 plus 6 gives me 90. So totally, how many students are participating in quiz? 92 students. So do we have that in our options? Yes. Option E, 92 will be my final answer. Now, let's move on to the next sub question here. What are they asking? The total number of students who do not take part in any of the activities from class 9 is what percent of total number of students who take part in any of the activities from class 7, 8, and 9. For that, we have to first find out what the number of students who do not take part in any of the activities from class 9 has been directly given to us as 95. It is 95 students who do not take part in any activities from class 9. So these are non-participating students. Asking the percentage of non-participating students among the students who are participating in any of the activities from 7, 8, and 9. We have already found out for 7, 8, and 9. What is it? How many people are participating for 7? 70 students. Yes, class 8 it is. How many? It is 90 students. Plus class 9. Class 9 once again it is 90 students. So what are the participants for class 7, 8, and 9 together? Participants are participating students will be 90, 90, 180, 180 plus 70 gives me 250. How do we deal with percentages? Let me give you a small example. If I say 50 marks is how much out of the total of 100 marks? Do we calculate? 50 marks is the marks that we have got out of total of 100 marks. is into 100. What will it be? 100 gets cancelled. It will be 50%. Similarly, they're asking us to find total number of students who do not take part in class 9 out of the total of people participating from class 7, 8, and 9 together. So what will be in my numerator? It will be the number of non-participating students from class 9. That is 95 out of the total of how many? 250. So it is 250 into 100. 1010 gets cancelled. 5 5 is 25. 5 2 is 10. 5 1 is 5. 5 1 is 5 once again. It will be 4 will be remaining. 5 9 is 45. What is 19 into 2? 19 into 2 is 38%. So do we have that in our option? Yes. Option C, 38% will be my final answer. So now we've already solved 5 questions on tabular graph. You have already got the idea about how to solve the problems from tabular graph. Let us look at our next example, tabular graph itself, so that you can understand the topic even better. So in this question, what are they asking? The table, the detail of total number of students. So they're giving us the total number of students and students in class 10. There are 3 different schools, that is A, B, and C. When you take a school, there will be n number of classes. It can start from LKG to 10th standard, or it can also start from 1st standard to 10th standard. Different classes will be there in a school. So they've given us the strength of the school, and they've also given us the strength of students in class 10. Both of these include male and female. Here in the final column, they've given us the female students in class 10. Now we have understood what all they've given in the table. So let us look at our first question here. What are they talking about? They're talking about school C. So let us not worry about the other 2 schools. Let's look at only school C. So in school C, what is the total number of students here? Total number of students are 360. Now the number of female students in class other than 10 is 101. What percent of students in school C are female? Once again, it's a concept of percentages. That's the reason from my previous session I keep on telling you that 3 topics, which are those: percentage, ratios, and averages, are very important to answer questions from data interpretation. Let us come back to our question. What does it say? There are 101 female students who are not in class 10. So, how many students are there? 101 students are female. They're asking what is the percent of students in class C who are female. 101 students are females other than class 10, and there are 25 students in class 10. What will be the total number of female students? It will be 101 plus 25. There will be totally 126 female students in school C. So now they're asking us to find the percentage of female students. That is 126 out of the total of 360 students into 100. So now if we solve this, what do I get? We cancel out 10 and 10 here. 36. 6 times is 36. 621 times is 126. What am I left out with? 210 by 6. What can I do? These 3 2 6, 3 7 is 21. 2 1s 2 and 2 5 is 10. What am I left out with? 7 into 5. What is 7 into 5? 35%. So 35% of students are female. Do we have that in our options? Yes. Option E, 35 will be my final answer. So let's move on to the next sub question here. What are they telling? What is the difference between number of male students in class 10 of school A? They're talking about school male students in class 10 of school A and that of school B. What do we need to find out? We need to find out the number of male students in school A and school B from 10th standard only. So we'll not be using this column here. In this column, there are totally 48 students that are male and female. And number of female are 12. So what will be the total number of male from school A? It will be 40 total students. We'll have to remove female from them. If I remove all the females, that is 12 from them, what will be left out? I'll be left out with 36 people who are male. So similarly for school B, how many students are studying in 10th standard? There are 64 students. This is for school A, this is for school B. Totally 64 students. Out of these 64 students, I have to remove the female student. How many female students are there? 10 students are female. So if I remove all these 10 people, what will I be left out with? I'll be left out with 54 students. Who are these 54 students? These are all male students. Now they're asking us the difference. Difference is greater value minus smaller value. 54 minus 36. What will it give me? 36 plus 8 gives me 44 plus 10 gives me 54. So yeah, what will be my final answer? My final answer will be 18. Do we have that in our options? Yes. Option B, 18 will be my final answer. So now let's move on to the next sub question here. What does it say? In school A, there are only 3 classes. They're telling in school there are only 3 classes, that is 8th, 9th, and 10th standard. If the respective ratio between the number of students in class 8 and 9, given us the ratio of students in class 8 and class 9, is equal to 55 is to 46. What is the number of students in class 8? So now they're asking us to find the number of students in class 8. How do we solve this problem? How do we solve the problems based on ratios? We need to find out the number of students. This number of students in class 8 are 55. Out of the total of 55 plus 46, that is 101. So there are 55 students in class 8 out of total of 101. If there are 101 students, there will be 55 students from class 8. But then, is the total number of students in class 8 and class 9 only 101? No. What is the total number of students in class 8 and 9 together? It will be, there are 250 students in class, 250 students in this school. We have to remove all the students who are in class 10 because we need only the number of students in class 8 and class 9. If I remove all the students from class 10, what do I get? 250 minus 48. What is 250 minus 48? It is 202. 55 out of total of 101 students into 202 will give me the number of students in class 8. So what will this be? 101 1 times 200. 101 twice will be 202. So what is 55 into 2? 110. So what does it mean? It means that of 110 students are in class 8. Now, let me repeat this question for you. So they're telling that in school A, there are only 3 classes, which are those 8th, 9th, and 10th. Now they've given us the ratio for only 8th and 9th standard. Now first, what do we need to do? Since they've given us only the ratio of 8th standard and 9th standard, first let us eliminate the students from class 10 because we don't want the data of class 10 students. Because even in the question that they've asked, we need to find out only the number of students in class 8. First, let us eliminate the number of students in class 10. So in a school A, there are totally 250 students. Of those 250 students, 48 students are in class 10. If I remove those 48 students, what will I get? I'll get 202. What is this 202? It is the number of students in class 8 and class 9. What they've given us the ratio for class 8 and class 9. That is 55 is to 46. What does this mean? If there are totally 101 students, 55 students will be from class 8. If there are 101 students, 55 students will be from class 8. Then, are there only 101 students in class 8 and class 9 together? No. there are totally 202 students. What do I need to do? I need to multiply the total number of students. That is 202. If I simplify this, what do I get? 101 once, 101 twice is 202. What is 55 into 2? It will be 110. Sorry, excuse me. So, what is this 110? It is the number of students in class 8. So, this will be my final answer. So, now let's move on to the next sub question here. What does it say? In school B, the number of students in classes other than class 10 is what percentage? Careful with this. Is percentage more than the number of students in class 10. We need to compare the value to number of students in class 10. Which value do we need to compare? We need to compare the number of students in difference between the number of students in class 10 and the number of students in other classes. We're talking about school B. We'll only look at school B here. There are 2480 students. Out of that, we need to find out the number of students in classes other than class 10. What do I need to do? I need to remove the people who are in class 10. How many people? There are 64 students in class 10. So if I remove these 64 students, what do I get? I get 416. What is this 416? These are the number of students who are studying in other classes except in standard. They're asking what percentage it is more than the number of students in class 10. Now, if I have to calculate by what percentage it is more, first I have to calculate by what number it is more than the number of students in class 10. So, how much more is 416 when compared to 64? How do I find out? I take the difference between 416 and 64. Take the difference, what do I get? Greater value, that is 416 minus smaller value, that is 64. What do I get? 416 minus 64 gives me 352. This is the difference between the number of students in class 10 and number of students in other classes. How do we find out the percentage? That is difference or change in value divided by original value or comparison value. What are we comparing? Comparing it to the number of students in class 10. What are the number of students in class 10? It is 64. So if I cancel this out, what do I get? 64 into 100 because we have to find out the percentage. So 8 is 64. 8 4 is 32. Remaining 32 once again. 8 4 is 32 once again. So 4 2 is 8. 4 11 is 44. 2 1 is 2. 2 5 is 10. So now what am I left out with? 11 into 50. That is 550 percentage. So we have that in our options. Yes. Option B, 550 will be my final answer. Now we know both the values here. What do we need to do? We need to find the ratio. It is very simple. That is nothing but 80 is to 480. What do we need to do? Cancel out the zeros. 8 ones, 8 6, 48. So what will be my final ratio? It will be 1 is to 6. So we have that in our options. Yes. Option D, 1 is to 6 will be my final answer. So now let's move on to the next question or the last question from tabular graph. What does it say? What is the average number of students in class 10 of school A and B? They're asking us to find the average number of students in class 10. How many students are there in class 10 for school A and B? It is 48 plus 64. School A plus school B, that is 10 standard students. What do we get? 48 plus 64. What is 48 plus 64? 60, 40 gives me 100. 8 plus 4 gives me 112. 112 will be the total. What is average? Total number of students divided by number of observations. Number of observations here is class 9A and school A and school B. That is 2 observations. So what do I get? 2 5 is 10, 2 6 12. My answer will be 56. Do we have that in our options? Yes. Option A, 56 will be my final answer. So now, this will be the end of basics of tabular graph. Now let us look at pie chart. But before we start with pie chart, let me tell you the basics of pie chart. So in the other graphs that are line and bar graph, was the data represented? Data was represented in terms of total number of products sold or total number of product manufactured. Any number, it was were in terms of numbers. Here, how does a pie chart look? Pie chart is always circular. So we have a pie chart which is circular. So whenever it is in circular, instead of giving the data in most of the cases, they will give it in terms of angles or percentages. Angles or percentages. So this is what makes the pie chart a little confusing, a little tricky. Then it is very easy. Let me give you a small example here. Let's say there are four friends. A, B, C, D, and E. A, B, C, and D are four friends. Now they want to start a business together. Let's say they're starting a clothing business together. They're starting clothing business together. So now they started a business. Totally, overall, making a profit of how much? Profit would be, let me say they're making a profit of rupees 5,000. What is this 5,000? It is the overall profit made by all the four people together. Now let me say, I represent the profit made by each and every student inside a pie chart. So how do I do that? Let's say friend A makes a profit of 30%. So let me represent that here. Make this person A, and his profit is 30% out of the total of 5,000. Let me say there is person B. Person B is making a profit of 20%. Let's say there is another person, that is person C, who is making a profit of only 10%. Now, there's the last friend, that is person D, and he's making a profit more than everyone, that is 40%. Now, if I ask you, what is the profit made by C alone? How do we answer this question? We know that C is made 10% profit, meaning 10 by 100. Out of total of how much? Total profit is 5,000. So it will be 5,000. What do we get? Two zeros. If it gets cancelled, what will I be left out with? I'll be left out with 500. What is this 500? 500 will be the profit made by person C. Now, similarly, if I ask you, what is the profit made by A? How do we answer this question? We know that A has made 30% profit. What do we mean by 30%? 30 by 100. Out of total profit is how much? 5,000. Now, if I cancel this out, what will I be left out with? I'll be left out with 50 into 30. What is 50 into 30? It is nothing but 1,500 rupees. What is this 1,500 rupees? It is the profit made by person A. Now, not just percentages. Data can also be given in terms of angle. The total angle inside a circle is 360 degrees. Now, let's say I divide the same question in terms of angles. How do I do that? I know A has got profit of 30%. Total, it is 360 degrees. What is 30% of 360? 360 into 30 by 100. Two zeros gets cancelled. What is 36 into 3? 90 plus 80. That is 108. So that will be 108 degrees for A. What is B? B is 20%, meaning 2 into 36. What is 2 into 36? 72 degrees. This will be 72 degrees for B. What will be the profit for C in terms of angles? It will be 36 degrees. This is for C. What will be the angle for person D? Profit in terms of angle for person D will be 36 into 4. What is 36 into 4? 120 plus 24. That is 144 degrees. So this is how you convert degrees to percentage and percentage to degree. Now you've got the basic idea about the pie chart. So let us look at our first question from this pie chart. What does it say? Given below is a pie chart depicting the total number of sold by 5 stores. There are 5 different stores, which are those A, B, C, D, and E. And they're selling different number of shirts. What they're telling that given us the data of total number of shirts sold. In my previous example, I've given you total profit. They've given us total number of shirts sold. It is very similar to the example that I've given here. So, what is the total number of shirts sold here? It is 2,800. Total is 2,800. What are they asking in the questions? For D, sold only 2 types of shirts, is formal and casual. For D as sold formals as well as casual shirts. Those are 2 different types of shirts that are sold. Now, if the average number of formal shirts sold by store D is 664, talking about the average number of formal shirts sold by store D. Store D sold 664 formal shirts. Now, what is the respective ratio between the number of formal and casual shirts sold by store D? So here, what will be the total shirts sold by store D? Store D sold some amount of shirts, that is total number, will be equal to number of formal shirts sold plus number of casual shirts sold. Already given us the number of formal shirts sold, that is 664. 664. Now, how do we find out the casual shirt? Is there any data given? No. I'll write it as casual shirt as it is. Then, look at this. Can we find out total number of shirts here? Yes, because option D is represented by yellow color. And I told that option D, store D has sold 32% of the total shirts. What will be the number of shirts sold by store D? Total number of shirts sold by store D will be equal to 32% of 32% meaning 32 by 100 of 2,800. It will be 2,800. What will happen? I can cancel these two. So it will be cancelling out these two. Now, how can I write this? How to solve this problem? Isn't 32 into 28 a little complicated? So what I do here is, instead of writing multiplying 32 into 28, I'll directly write 28 as 13 minus 2. So now this becomes very easy. What is 32 into 3? 32 into 3 is 96. So 32 into 30 will be 960 minus what is 32 into 2? 32 into 2 will be 64. What is 960 minus 64? It will be 960 minus 60 gives me 900 minus 4 gives me 896. So 896 will be the total number of shirts sold by store D. The total number of shirts sold by store D is 896. What will be the casual shirts sold? Casual shirts sold will be 896 minus 664. What is 896 minus 664? 896 minus 664 gives me 232. The number of casual shirts sold are 32 and number of formal shirts sold are 664. Now they're asking us the ratio between both of them. Ratio between the casual shirt and ratio between the formal and casual. So formal first, 664 is 2. Casual shirt, that is 232. Now if we cancel this, what do I get? 664 divided by 4 gives me 4 16s is 64. And what will I be left with? 24. 4 6 is 24. It's 2. 4 6 1. No, 4 5 is 20. Plus 4 8 is 32. So once again, what can I do? I can divide it by 2. If I divide it by 2, what do I get? 2 8 is 16. 2 3 is 6. Is 2. 2 2 is 4. 2 9 is 18. So what will be my final answer? My final answer will be 83 is to 29. Do you have that in our options? Yes. Option D, 83 is to 29 will be my final answer. Now, let's move on to the next question here. What does it say? The average number of shirts sold by store C in 2003 and 2004. What is average? Average will be sum of all observation by number of observation. Average for which store average for store C is equal to sum of all observation, that is for 2003 plus 2004. This will be sum of all observation divided by number of observation, that is 2003 and 2004. So that is divided by 2. And they've given this to be as 343. The total number of shirts sold by C in 2004 will be what percentage less than the number of shirts sold by the same store in 2003? This is slightly a complicated question. So what do we do? First, let us look at the data here. The sales which they have given here in the pie chart is for the year 2003. So we don't know the data for 2004. What do we need to do? First, let us find out the number of shirts sold by store C in 2003. C will be the gray color. That is nothing but 14%. Store C sells how much? 14%. That is 14 by 100 of 2,800. What will be the total number of shirts sold? 2 zeros gets cancelled. Look at this, 14 into 28. Instead of writing 28 as 30 minus 2 here, I'll directly write it as 14 into 14 into 2. Because 28 is 14 into 2. I know 14 square is 196. This 196 into 2, we can directly tell it as 392. 196 into 2 is 392. Now, what is 392? It is number of shirts sold in 2003 by store C. So if we know here, we know number of shirts sold in 2003. How many unknowns we have? We have only one unknown. We can easily find out the number of shirts sold by C in 2004. So what will that be? 392 plus number of shirts sold by store C in 2004 will be equal to 343 into 2. What will be 343 into 2? It will be 686 here. Stores number of shirts sold by C in 2004 will be equal to 686 minus 392. What is 686 minus 392? It will be 294. Now, we've got the number of shirts sold by store C in the year 2004. We know the number of shirts sold by store C in the year 2003. That is 392. What are they asking? By what percentage is number of shirts sold by C is more or less? What do we need to do? We need to take the difference between the number of shirts sold in 2003 and 2004. If we take the difference, what do I get? 392 minus 294 divided by what percentage? What are we comparing it to? Number of shirts sold by the same store in 2003. So we need to compare it to the number of shirts sold in 2003. What is the number of shirts sold in 2003? It is 392. What is 292 minus 392 minus 294? If I add 100 to 294, I get 394. It is 2 less than 100, meaning 98 divided by 392 into 100. So what is 98? 49 into 2 is 98. 49 into 8 will be 392. Now, what do I get? 2 ones, 2 fours. What is 1 by 4? We can directly cancel it as 25. So what is how much percentage it is more or less? It is less than C. Less than number of shirts sold by store C in 2003. By how many percent? It is by 25%. What will be my final answer? My final answer would be option E, 25%. So let's move on to the last question for the day. What do we have here? They're asking us the central angle corresponding to the number of shirts sold by store D. How many shirts did it sell? It sold 32% of the shirt. Now I've already told you how to convert the percentages to angle. How do we do that? It is told 32% out of the total here. What is the total angle inside a circle? Total angle inside a circle is 360 degrees. We need to find out 32% of that 360 degrees. How do we find that? Find that 32% of 360 degrees. Now, if we start calculating it like a normal way, it will become very difficult. So instead of that, what do I do? First, I'll find out 30% of 360. I'll find out 2% of 360. So what is 10% of 360? 10% of 360 is 36. So what is 30% of 360? 30% of 360 will be 36 into 3. What is 36 into 3? 36 into 3 will give me 108. This is 108 degrees. Yes, 2%. What is 1% of 360? 1% of 360 will be 3.6. So what will be 2%? 2% will be 7.2 degrees. What is 108 plus 7.2? 108 plus 7.2 gives me 115.2 degrees. So do we have that in our options? Yes. Option E, 115.2 degrees will be my final answer. Let me repeat this. How did we do this? Look at this. We've already watched a percentage video, already understood how we did this. Let's say I have a number 200. So how do we find out 10% of this? 10% meaning 10 by 100 of total of 200. And what happens here? 10%. 10 gets cancelled. 10 from here and 10 gets cancelled. What is 10%? 10% is 20. How did we just do that? We just cancelled out 10 from 200. Similarly, in this 360, what will be 10% of 360? It will be 36. How do we find out 30%? 30% is nothing but 10% into 3. We found out 10% is 36. 36 into 3 is 108. Similarly, what will be 1%? What is 1% of 200? 1 divided by 100 of 200. So what happens? 2 zeros gets cancelled, 2 zeros gets cancelled. In this case, what did I do? I went back by 2 decimal places. So what did I get? 1% was 3.6. How did I find out 2%? 1% into 2. That is 3.6 into 2 gave me 7.2 degrees. What is the total? Total will be 108 plus 7.2. What is 108 plus 7.2? It is 150.2 degrees. Am I clear, people? This will be the end of basics for data interpretation. From our next class, we'll start looking at the problems from our previous year SSC paper. Please watch both these basic sessions, people. This will be helping you for the coming sessions of data interpretation.